Okay, part 2. So I've gotten rid of that guy there, and we are in layer 0 PSB. We're inside the smart layer, smart object. So we'll just save and close that. Okay, so now I've got the canvas back again, the way that it will be at 1360 by 720. So I've run through sharpening before, so I won't run through sharpening again. It's probably not too bad anyway from what I can see. It looks quite sharp, but yeah, I did run through that before. So I'll just go through. Let's see. I usually have like them all sort of in my presets, but I didn't want to confuse you because I don't know what you like to use and what you don't like to use. So anyway, I'll start off with vibrance, and I will also start with contrast, which is here. And I treat these together, so they kind of work together. So vibrance, I will put it 100%, and this is like how my preset is. It's at 100%, and contrast is pulled right back. And what that does in combination, turn that off and turn that on, you can see that it really fills it with color, really boosts it, doing those two things. And then from there I would come in and I would say, well, it's a little bit too much, so I might come back a little bit to there. And once I've done that, I will introduce some saturation and see. You usually don't get much, but you can get a little bit of saturation. So very quickly I've gone from that to that with a lot more color. From there, I'll go into selective color, and I generally tackle the neutrals first, starting with the black, just to balance all the color casts that can be in an image. There's quite a bit in the cyan. And then basically start at the top and work my way down. Yeah, okay, so this is probably pretty boring to watch, so I'll try and do it as quickly as I can. Anyway, this just comes down to personal taste, really. Just getting through those. Reds and yellows obviously are the big ones. Greens sometimes works. For an image like this, it probably will. A lot of images in nature, the greens don't work, but this is being tropical. I'm getting some good use out of that. Cyan, I'm not going to bother. There's hardly any water. Blues, I don't think I'll waste my time. So whites, definitely. So you can see here that because this is overexposed, I'm going to pull it right down, try and get back some of that detail. Introducing a little bit of yellow in it just to trick the eye into thinking that there's detail there. And getting a little bit back in the sky, that blue coming through. And blacks, sometimes most of the time I don't, but sometimes you can get a little bit by fiddling around with the black and then the yellow. I don't really worry about the other ones. So how does that look? So you can see that I've taken out a lot of the harshness of the scene and made it look more natural. So there was a quick adjustment there. So hue saturation. So going into particularly reds, yellows, and just knocking back problem areas that have just got too much in them. Yellows. So as I said, I don't do a heck of a lot in Lightroom. There's nowhere near the amount of sliders to play around with in Lightroom, but it does do a very good job with RAW. So definitely Lightroom they're meant to work together. That's how Adobe have packaged them up, and they do. They work very well together. So just personal taste, however it's going to look. Now, a big one that I forgot was probably should have done it a bit earlier. Where is it? Exposure. So let's have a look. I mean, because I did the selective color and everything, I would usually do this first and get it close and then finish off with selective color. But not to worry, it doesn't really make too much of a difference. So you can see it, the darkness is really popping, and then with the exposure there, bang, out it pops. So gone from drab to fab, and there's a bit too much dark in there. I would have got that with selective color in the blacks and just pulled that out a little bit. Up there it's looking a little bit too dark, so I won't worry about it, but you can certainly see the difference that's making. It might be a little bit too much. Probably just need to pull it. It's a bit too contrasty. So another thing too with brightness contrast, you can always even with the contrast slider all the way down, sometimes I use 2. So I'll use another one, and so I'm going for even, just keep pulling that contrast back. So pull it back a bit more. Anyway, something like that. And curves. Curves are a good one. So click in the middle, click here, and then Shift and the arrow keys. So this is doing different parts of the image in the tone curve. So another way that you can make an image pop a little bit more. Just pressing the arrow will move it incrementally by 1. Holding Shift will make it move by 10. So you can actually see the difference quite quickly. Once again, all of this, I apologize if you know it. These are just things that I do all the time with my images. You can go and click here, click here, click here, click here, and get even more adjustment if you like. This will get you most of the way. You can even go into red, green, and blue and do this same process. If you've got a problem image, that doesn't work too bad either. But for the most part, that's all I would do. It's still quite contrasty, so it was mainly because I didn't do the selective color in the right order. So somewhere about there. So I'm just flying through this, and you get an idea. If I was to create a group new group from layers, then just turn it off and on, so you can see the difference that I've made in Photoshop. I think it's probably lacking a little bit of tone in the trees here. If I come back, I can see there's a bit of tone that I've lost, so I might try and reintroduce that. But yeah, so that's kind of what I do in Photoshop. Are there any more? Black and white, color balance. Oh, color balance, that's another good one. I don't know if you, definitely for dusks and dawns and things like that, color balance is really good. Sometimes you don't get anything out of color balance, sometimes you really do. So it's worth just seeing if color balance is going to work on an image, particularly if you've got a problem image or dawn and dusk, something with nice hues and stuff. It can really make an image pop. So this image being a midday shot, I'm not really getting a heck of a lot. It's kind of same. So that's another one to consider, but anyway, I won't use that for the moment. That's it for color correction with those. Now there's other things that I've done in Photoshop, but that's kind of it. It's actually looking all a little bit green. These people are looking a little bit sick, if you ask me. So like I've flown through it, but I just wanted to give you an idea of what I do. Now, where do I go from here? So I want to now save this for web. So I showed you save for web, and then once the image has been saved for web, I would then click save on this. It's automatically going to come up with post-process, which is where I want it. Just leave it the name that it is. I don't need this renamed, I just need the final file renamed. So we've got a JPEG in the post-process folder, and we're going to have the PSD in the folder. So before and after. And if I ever needed to come back, I might want to do a few tweaks. I can open this Photoshop document and I've got all my layers and everything there. So that's essentially it. I'll leave you with that, and let me know if you've got any comments or questions, and we'll go from there. Thanks, Daria. Cheers.